I fixed my FBAR nightmare in 24 hours. Watch how. Just a few days ago, my stomach was in knots. I was staring down a potential penalty of over $10,000 from the IRS, and I was in a full-blown ice-cold panic. It turns out I completely messed up my FBAR filings for years and even missed the most recent deadline entirely. I thought I was in for a long, expensive, and frankly terrifying battle. But then I found a way to fix everything. I'm talking penalty-free in just 24 hours using the IRS's own official procedure. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I went from a total FBAR effing nightmare to complete peace of mind step by step. The nightmare begins. What is an FBAR? So what is this monster that was keeping me up at night? It's called FBAR, FBAR, which stands for the Report of Foreign Bank and Financial Accounts. The official form is FinCEN Form 114. Now, this isn't a tax form. It's an information report that U.S. persons, citizens, green card holders, and some residents have to file every single year. You have to file it if the combined value of all your foreign financial accounts tops 10 grand at any point during the year, even for just one day. That's $10,000, even for just one single day. But let me tell you how this nightmare started. It started with that classic, oh no moment. I was organizing old files and found statements from a small overseas account that I had years and years ago. I knew about the FBAR and thought I was doing everything right. The deadline is usually April 15th, but there's an automatic extension to October 15th, which I always used. But looking at these old statements, I realized I completely forgotten about this account, and actually another one as well. My blood ran cold. That meant for several years my filings were wrong. And for the most recent year, I'd missed the October 15th deadline totally. I immediately went online, and the words that came up were terrifying. Crippling penalties, criminal investigation, seizure of assets. I felt sick. The penalties are no joke. For a non-willful mistake where basically you messed up but didn't mean to, the penalty can be over $16,000 for each report you failed to file correctly. For a willful violation, meaning you knew and didn't file, it's a greater of over $165,000 or 50% of the account balance per violation. The penalties can stack up and be more than what's even in the accounts. I had multiple years of mistakes. I started doing the math, and the numbers were absolutely staggering. The panic and the research rabbit hole. I spent the next few hours diving headfirst into Google black hole. Every article and forum seemed to confirm my worst fears. The internet is filled with horror stories of people who made simple mistakes and ended up owing tens and tens of thousands of dollars. The one thing that kept coming up was the difference between willful and non-willful. And this is the absolute key here. Non-willful is when you genuinely didn't know you misunderstood or you just made an honest mistake. And that was me. Willful, on the other hand, implies intent. It's when you know you have to report and you chose not to. The consequences for willfulness are life-altering. As I was digging, I found a tiny glimmer of hope. It was about a major Supreme Court case, Bittner versus United States. Before this case, the IRS sometimes charged the non-willful penalty on a per-account basis. So if you missed a report with 5 accounts, you get hit with 5 penalties. But the Supreme Court clarified that for non-willful mistakes, the penalty applies on a per-report basis. For Mr. Bittner, this decision dropped his potential penalty from a staggering $2.72 million to 50 grand. This was a huge relief. And it meant my mistake, while serious, wasn't going to be multiplied by the number of accounts I forgot, but a 5-figure penalty was still a devastating prospect. I kept digging, convinced there had to be a path for people who just made an honest mistake, just like me, discovering the secret IRS solution. And then buried deep within the IRS's own website, I found it. It's not a shady loophole. It's an official government process. It's often called the Delinquent FBAR Submission Procedures. Reading their webpage felt like finding a life raft. This procedure is designed specifically for people like me who made an honest mistake. The rules are crystal clear. You can use this procedure if you haven't already been contacted by the IRS about your late FBARs. You have to come forward first. You're not under a civil or criminal investigation by the IRS. And the big one, you have properly reported and paid all taxes on any income from those foreign accounts. See, this FBAR thing is an informational report, not a tax form. The government's main concern is catching tax evasion. So if you've been honestly reporting the interest and dividends on your tax returns, you've met most of the important requirements. And this was like my breakthrough. The income from my forgotten accounts was tiny, and I had reported it all on my 1040s. I was the perfect candidate. The IRS website states that if you meet these conditions and can show reasonable cause, they will not impose a penalty for filing late. Zero. It seemed too good to be true, but there it was in black and white. My 24-hour fix was now in motion. The 24-hour fix in action, a step-by-step guide. So this is where the clock started ticking. I was determined to get this done immediately, and here's exactly what I did. Step 1, gather your documents. This is in hours 1 through 4. First, I needed data. For every year I messed up, I needed the maximum value of each and every foreign account. This meant logging into banking portals and digging through old emails for statements. I made a simple spreadsheet: year, bank name, account number, and maximum value. You need the maximum value at any point during the year, not the year-end balance. For currency conversion, you use the Treasury Department's official year-end exchange rate for that year, which is easy to find online. And this took a few hours, but organization was everything. The prep, getting all the paperwork together, is key. Step 2, access the system. This is in hour 5. With my data ready, I went to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN's website. You file the FBAR through their BSA e-filing system at bsefiling.fincen.gov. I created an account and got ready to file. But actually, you don't even really need to create your own account to file these FBARs. You just go to the website. Step 3, filling out the forms, hours 6 through 10. Now for the main event, filling out FinCEN Form 114 for each of my delinquent years. You have to file a separate report for each year you missed. The form is pretty straightforward. You enter your info, and then for each account, you list the max value, the bank, and the account number. I was meticulous. I double-checked every number against my spreadsheet. I filed for the year I missed completely, and also filed amended FBARs for the prior years where my reports were inaccurate. Step 4, and this is the most important part, the explanation. This is in hour 11. On the electronic form, there's a drop-down menu where you select a reason for filing late. This is your moment. I selected the option for filing under the delinquent procedures and then attached a simple, honest statement. This is the most critical piece of the whole process. And my statement said something like this: I am filing these delinquent FBARs because I was unaware of my full reporting obligations. After reviewing my records, I discovered I had unintentionally omitted several accounts from past filings and missed the filing deadline for the most recent year. All income from all my foreign accounts has been properly reported on my U.S. income tax returns for all years, and all taxes have been paid. I have not been contacted by the IRS regarding this matter, and I am filing voluntarily to correct my records. All right, this statement does 3 things. It shows the reason was non-willful. It confirms all tax was paid and states that you're coming forward proactively. Step 5, submit and breathe. This is hour 12. With the forms filled out and the statement attached, I hit submit. The system gives you a confirmation receipt for each filing. I save them all as PDFs into my computer. The feeling of relief was immediate and overwhelming. In less than a day of focused work, I went from facing tens of thousands in penalties to being fully compliant. All right, what this fix is not for. Now I need to be crystal clear. This 24-hour penalty-free fix worked for me because my situation was non-willful and all my income had been reported on and taxed already. This procedure is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. If you've been willfully hiding money, if you have unreported income from your foreign accounts, you can't use this specific method. Doing so would be a false statement, which is a very serious offense. For situations involving unreported income or potential willfulness, the IRS has other, more complex programs like the Streamlined Filing Compliance Procedures or the Voluntary Disclosure Program called VDP. These are for more serious cases, often require amending tax returns, and may involve paying a penalty, but they offer a path to compliance and a protection from criminal prosecution. It's implied in the documentation. Navigating this was one of the most stressful experiences of my life. And while the delinquent filing procedure was perfect for my non-willful mistake, everyone's case is different. If you're listening to this and you're not sure if your situation was truly non-willful, or if you know you have unreported income, the single best thing you can do is stop and talk to a pro. Don't just go to any account. Find a tax attorney or an enrolled agent who lives and breathes this stuff, like me, attorney Chad Silver. An initial consultation will give you a clear diagnosis and a safe path forward. Believe me, that peace of mind is priceless. So that's the story. That's how I fixed my FBAR nightmare in under 24 hours. The biggest lesson I learned is that when it comes to the IRS, don't panic and don't hide. My terror came from a place of ignorance. I was picturing a faceless, merciless IRS machine. But the truth is, the system has paths built into it to help people make honest mistakes. These procedures exist for a reason, to give honest taxpayers a way to get right with the law without being financially destroyed. The key is acting proactively and honestly before they find you. The moment you realize there's a problem, that's your window to fix it on the most favorable terms available to you. If this video gave you a roadmap or even just a little bit of hope, please consider subscribing. I'll be sharing more stories about navigating the confusing world of finance and tax. Remember, if you're in this situation, you're not alone and there's a path forward. I'm tax attorney Chad Silver, founder of Silver Tax Group. We focus exclusively on tax law and international reporting, and FBAR defense are a major part of what we do. If you're dealing with unfiled FBARs or offshore compliance issues, visit us at silvertaxgroup.com or call 855-900-1040. We help taxpayers come into compliance, submit the required filings, and defend them if the IRS raises questions.